Well, good evening. Pleased to welcome you to the October meeting of the New York City School Board at 6:31-ish. Would you please call the roll, Mr. Valladares?
Mr. Blind.
Here.
Mr. Blowers.
Here.
Ms. Nickham.
Here.
Mr. Webb, not here. And Mr. Carr.
Here. Here we have the wonderful privilege of having some of the finest ROTC members anywhere in America here tonight to present the colors. And we're celebrating 10 years with ROTC here at New York City Schools. So would you stand as the colors are presented, please?
Color attention. Port arms. Carry. Colors. Forward. March. Mark time. March. Left turn. March. Color guard. Hold. Present. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Colors. From the hold. Right turn. March. Forward. March.
All right. I have a presentation.
Color.
Oh, you have a presentation. You have a PowerPoint.
You're up first, sir.
I just want to present this to you. This is a recognition of 10 years as an Air Force Junior ROTC under New York City Schools. I want to thank you for all that you guys have done. What a privilege. And we would like for these ladies and gentlemen to share a little bit about themselves and what ROTC has meant to them, if they indeed would.
Absolutely. We actually have our trip to Cincinnati that we'd like to show everybody. I can put together by your son.
The kid got that money?
He did. Now the hallway's going to be packed. Without further ado, we have a small presentation on behalf of Junior RTC to all of you.
Power plants, hospital.
Good evening, Mr. Yu, board members, and members of the Newark community. I want to wish you best wishes from the Newark Corps of Cadets and the instructors of our program. We are here today to honor you with one of our Junior RTC Forever coins. Forever Challenge coins, excuse me. Legend has it that during World War I, a young pilot was shot down over Germany. He lost all of his rank and identification during the crash. The Germans were prepared to shoot him as a spy. At the last minute, he was able to produce his squadron's challenge coin as proof that he was not a spy, but in fact a uniformed pilot. That because of the coin, they spared his life. Since that time, the challenge coin has been a part of everyday military life, including Junior ROTC. The coin each cadet has represents our unit and is part of us. It was designed by our cadets. We now place the coin in your hand. As it passes from our hand to yours, we are forever bound together by this coin to the same Junior ROTC unit. Thus, you now represent each of us, whether ultimately we earn a coin or not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
If I may, I know you guys wanted each one of these guys to share a few words of wisdom and whatever from their experiences in Junior RTC. But if I can indulge you guys for just about 10 more seconds, I have one more. Someone that has been a part of us for the last couple of years and has really helped us out as far as all of our public affairs and whatnot. Would Mr. Wingate please come forward?
We're family. That was a surprise. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why I'm behind the camera, not in front.
I just want to tell you all along, he's always been a big part of the unit and backed us up, everything we count on support, and he let us do some crew games. He's supported that a long time, and we know Columbus. We hope they didn't have their last crew game here, but we talked to the crew. Colonel Bradley was a big part of this, and we got a little gift here for you if you can hang on to that. We can lift that box with all of that. We got a lot of all the members of the crew.
Very upset.
And it says, grateful appreciation of the Columbus Crew 2018. Thank you very much.
So good, we're good.
Each student can step up and
Not a lot, just 5 to 7 years.
Watch out, yeah, Bill may take that later.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit about yourself. Robert, to see your experience.
So what you guys doing? So I joined ROTC freshman year, thinking one, it would just be a fun class that I would enjoy, mainly because my uncle was in the Air Force, and with it being an Air Force Junior ROTC, I thought it would be nice to learn a little bit about how everything works and all of that. I also thought it would be fun because I was told that we went into the gym every Friday and played dodgeball or mat ball. That was fun. And I didn't join color guard and start doing this type of stuff until towards the end of my sophomore year. But when I did, I think the first detail that they ended up putting me on was going back to the middle schools to talk about how it had helped me and what I enjoyed about it. And of course, I mentioned the dodgeball and the mat ball. That's my favorite. But since that, I've just gotten more involved, been able to do more and more details, and later on, I went to an Ohio State game. We just did a detail there recently. We've done the crew games, which I've really enjoyed. I've been a part of 2 of those, I believe, one of which I got to command. And going through some of these details and learning a little bit more about the unit and trying to be a little bit more involved, it has helped me to reach being the commander of the unit, which I've really enjoyed. So now I will ask my deputy commander to step up.
Hello, I am Julia Wysocki. As he said, I'm the deputy commander. When I first joined ROTC, all my intentions were I aspired to go to Naval or Air Force Academy, and I wanted to pursue a career in aeronautical engineering. Then, of course, my friend, she's not here, but Gina Lee said, Julia, everyone's joining Color Guard, you need to do it with me right now. And so we went to the paper, we asked everyone where we could sign up, and we both signed up. And then from that point on, I've been involved in Color Guard in so many details I can't count, like 2 hands. So many things that I've experienced and opportunities I've had have been amazing. And I'm just so blessed to be a part of the ROTC and to be the deputy commander and then our our group commander next year. And I look forward to the many more experiences and opportunities I will have this year and next year. Thank you.
I'm not very good at this. So I joined ROTC originally, in all honesty, for credits. I know a lot of people say that, but that's what I did it for. I did it for credits, and I thought, hey, maybe it'd be a cool class. I have a lot of family in the military, so we'll just see where it takes me. And I didn't really start getting into it too much until about halfway through my freshman year. I wasn't really very active in the class. I just kind of sat back, did my own thing, and then I started to see what the Color Guard was doing, and I was like, hey, that looks pretty cool. Why don't I, see what that's all about? And slowly but surely, I fell deeper and deeper into the Color Guard hole, and I now command my own competition team with 2 others here that are on it. And just since then, I've had some of the best memories with some of the best people and just grew into this loving, huge family that we have now. And it's honestly one of the best things I think I ever could have done for myself.
Hello, I am Shannon Norman. I am the Color Guard commander. I joined as a freshman for ROTC, and I kind of got pushed into things and kind of got voluntold, per se. This is March, so they shoved me on in it. And then about halfway through my freshman year, I became deputy Color Guard commander. And then halfway through my sophomore year, I became Color Guard commander. So everything kind of moved pretty quick for me. And now I'm a senior, so I'm graduating in June. And I think this program has really made me who I am. Before, I kind of was a little invisible. I didn't want to be center of attention. Wouldn't be able to talk in front of anybody right now. But it's allowed me to open up my shell and become, I don't know, a better speaker and more outgoing person.
What are you going to do?
I'm sadly not going into the military. I thought about it a lot, but I don't think it's best for me. But I'm going to go to college for zoology. I'm Danielle Michelle. I'm Deputy Color Guard Commander. The reason I joined was because of one of my older brothers. I kind of really got pushed into it, and this lovely man over here, Master Sergeant Barnett, I remember walking out of my lunchroom in middle school when they came to visit, and he just looked at me, this random man just looked at me and goes, hey, are you going to join Color Guard? And I was like, I mean, I guess. And I showed up on the first day of school, and my older brother just pointed me out to everybody, and just kind of went from there. And
I mean, it's now my junior year and I'm color guard deputy. And I'm on a team with these two lovely people right here. Color guard is definitely such a help for me. And we're just a big family and I love every single one of them.
Hi, I'm Madison Cardinal. I joined ROTC for quite the same reason as Julia. I had interest in going to a service academy after high school. Through ROTC, I've had a lot of leadership roles and experiences. I've really gotten out of my shell a little bit. Never really had much of a shell, but I really didn't know my potential at all. And it's really opened my eyes to what I can do. Like the third week of school, my freshman year, they decided that I could march very well. And they pulled me, Julia, and two of our other friends out of our class and decided that they were going to try to make us become a color guard team. And that's just exactly what we did. And then from there, we went to competitions, and this last year, we actually did extremely well. Our first comp that we went to last year, we scored 299 out of 300 points. So, I mean, we've had some really crazy experiences there. I've traveled all over the state and a little bit beyond with color guard. Met some amazing friends, 5 of which are right here. Love them all dearly. Some great mentors whom I would have never had without ROTC, and I appreciate all of it.
Great. I would also say with Madison, you do anything in the wintertime?
I do a lot.
What of
Fall, winter, and spring. I do cross country, swimming, and track.
I know one of the top times she'll have it. What's your event swimming?
The 100 butterfly. Yeah, I've gotten pretty far with that.
How many school records right
Yeah,
now?
I've got 3 school records. Been to districts twice in swimming. Yeah, hoping for state this year. Working on it.
All of these students are wonderful leaders at our high school. I appreciate your comments about what the ROTC program has done for you. But I would make some comments, and I'm glad to recognize Mr. Wingate. I see him a lot. And what's neat is even after his son graduated a few years ago.
4 years ago.
Has it been 4 already? 4 years ago. He stayed involved in the program, and we appreciate that so much.
With that, I'd like to invite, I'm Steve Wingate, I'm president of the ROTC Booster Club on my 9th year of a 1-year term. But I would like to invite all your members to come to one of our meetings on a Tuesday night, second Tuesday of the month, which happens to be tomorrow night at 6:30 at Building G 245, right? Room 245. Love to see you guys show up and see what the Booster Club's about, because we're a lot of why they get to go do some of this stuff, because the school cannot afford to send these guys to all these events. That's why we try to raise money, help out.
We appreciate that.
I love
We've had good community support, but I also wanted to point out, boy, do we have some fantastic leaders, 3 wonderful leaders of this program. And I can remember 10 years ago now, we were talking, what was it, 44, 48 students?
First year, yes, sir.
How many do we have now?
297.
297, and we thank the board for their recognition of that, and added the 3rd instructor.
Yes, sir.
To serve more students. And
He's got a good one, I might add.
Mr. Soto but you know, we appreciate your leadership of our program. It is just awesome that you're a good ambassador. Your program's a good ambassador for not just our school, but our community when you go out and to all these events and that flag goes down the center with the big N on it. And so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
I got one question. I think I know the answer to. You said 297 students. What's your graduation rate?
Last 2 years in a row, it's been 100, so we're at 97% graduation rate. Do you mind if I take 30 seconds real quick? I just wanted to, I can't express how how much these guys mean to us, how much they mean to Newark High School and the Newark community. As you guys know, I think our color guard is pretty famous. They've been to crew games. This year, the first time Ohio State ROTC has ever let anybody get involved with their ROTC cadets during an Ohio State game. And these guys were out there when they played Tulane. At the same time, we had 30 cadets at the crew game, exact same day, exact same time. A couple of weeks ago, you guys saw we did Cincinnati Bengal game. The week before that game, we were at the Cleveland Browns game. And if you guys are watching this Sunday, we will be at the Cleveland Browns again for Military Appreciation Day. We are taking 25 of those guys to be out in the middle of the field. So again, we appreciate all of you guys have done and what you have done for us. 6 months ago, I had a medical emergency and I did not think I was going to be able to make it back. And these guys are the heart and soul of our unit, and they are totally awesome. And I'm just so thankful that I'm here, that you guys were behind me to support me and helping me get back to work. And I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. You don't follow that, you just try to move on. You guys I've watched a couple of those young ladies grow up. Maddie Cardinal used to be a little kid riding a bike by my house. And so to see all that she's become and all that she's developed with a lot of potential. And same with you, Ms. Wysocki. So it's been a privilege to see how their lives are different and unbelievably better. So I sure appreciate that. And I know part of that is because of ROTC. And so it's a pleasure. And you know, a lot of times someone would think, well, that's just a little trinket thing, you know. No, it's not. It means a deal. It's a bunch. And so thank you. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to add to that, in that I truly feel honored receiving this coin. Because I remember back in the early days when we had a one-star general from the Army, and I wish I could remember his name.
General Williams.
General Williams, and he presented his general coin to, I think it was Tessa Bear.
Yes.
And that was such a touching moment. And such a high honor for her. And so I realized what regard you hold these coins in. It's really touched. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now for something completely different. But also very wonderful. We have a presentation, Lifetime Scholarship, and I'm super pleased to have that today.
Paraphernalia.
Yeah, I'm not sure we followed that.
Kind of hard act to follow.
You're going to make us cry some more.
Yeah, last time I presented, I'm going to have to know as you football player. It's like, you know, I got to stop with my time. It's terrible.
So I'd like to introduce Stephen Cook. Stephen is with Lifetown, which is located in New Albany. It is an awesome program that is available for students with disabilities to have as close to an authentic experience in a community as they can with still being protected without going outside to the actual locations. So I reached out to Stephen. We sent our MD students there last year for a visit at the high school, and this year we were looking to send them more often. And so Stephen and I connected. And with that, we were looking at sending students at the high school for a variety of visits, and probably 3 or 4 because it is a little pricey. And then Stephen reached out to me to say, hey, I have a wonderful proposition for you. So Stephen, I will let you take it from there and explain what you have. No, I want you to talk about, because you did the hard work.
Sure. Well, thank you very much. Well, board members, thank you for having me. So basically, we're Lifetown, and we're located, as you mentioned, in New Albany. We're a 5,000 square foot facility, and it's set up like, I should have actually probably brought the YouTube video to watch, but needless to say, it's a little town, if you will, and it's got a movie theater, pet shop, a salon, and we work with students with disabilities, so all over the spectrum, high level functioning autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. Right now, we're partnered with the Columbus City Schools, so we're getting about 1,300 students a year from them, which is about 53 schools, I think it is. I'm somewhat new to Lifetown, and my goal and what I've been brought on is to create higher efficiency in Lifetown, but more importantly, to expand the program. So I've been reaching out to corporations, obviously looking for funding and support, at the same time looking at different school districts to open it up and just grow the program. There's only 2 of those, well actually it's 3 now, but there's only 2 of this concept in America. So there's one in Michigan, there's one here, and there's a new one built in Newark, Ohio, ironically enough. Newark, New Jersey. I'll get them together. But anyway, so it's very special that we have this. So all that being said, in growing the program, reached out to Mindy, came out and met, and we talked about, and part of my thing is how are we going to get your students there, and how many times can we get them there, et cetera, et cetera. Let's just say the worlds collided, timing. At the same time, I secured Discover card as a corporate sponsor. In talking with them, part of my idea and my aggressiveness is like going to those companies and like, look, you're going to pay for a golf course sponsorship, or you're going to bring 21 kids to Lifetown. I didn't need to nudge them that much because they actually talked about how much they have a lot of employees in Licking County. And I kind of threw it out there. I said, wouldn't it be great to get more students from Licking County? And they said, that sounds like a fantastic idea. And really, 2 to 3 weeks, boom, 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 it happened. They were very generous, gave well over $10,000 in support, enabling Newark schools to come to Lifetown, and this just all happened literally within this last month. And in fact, I said, hey, can you show up? And she showed up the next morning. She actually said, how can I thank them? I said, we'll be here tomorrow morning. So she showed up and was able to meet with Discover and so forth. So that's it. So that's kind of how that all happened very quickly. We couldn't be happier to have Newark students involved, and we look at this as being a relationship that's going to be built and grown over the years, and we just look forward to working with your students, and hopefully they have an incredible time learning experience.
So the donation that they gave makes allowable for 190 individual visits of students, so it allows us to send 38 students 5 times over the course of the year. So it allows us to send all of our students in our multiple disabilities units at the high school, plus those that are in the resource room for various things. So we are graciously appreciative and looking forward to the multiple visits. The teachers have to do lessons in preparation so that the students are prepared to go. So there's a lot of buy-in, but the high school teachers are on board 100%, so we're excited.
And I welcome any of you guys. I mean, we're right down to 20 minutes away, and it's 10 to 12 every day. So anytime, you can get my contact information. We'd love to host you and just have you walk around. But it's pretty special.
It's a phenomenal place.
And I'll figure out where Newark is.
Yeah.
By then.
Not the first time we've been confused.
No. I was just so excited. I have 2 Newarks in my life, so.
Thank you.
Great. I don't have any coins.
I mean,
You got a lot of coins.
We did it that. So.
That's awesome.
It's all about students engaging and touching their lives and allowing them to have incredible experiences. And you're opening the door for a number of our favorites and specialists.
Awesome.
The specialist is the word. Specialist.
And we'll ask Mindy to keep us informed when our students are up there, because I'm sure there's a few of us that would like to come up
Yeah, we'd
up
love
there
to see them in
visit,
action.
so we appreciate that.
That'd be
Yes,
awesome.
we have the dates already scheduled, and I know that Seth and Matt are going to also be there on one of those visits so that we can make sure that we have some video and photos of the students.
Thank you.
We'll see you again next year.
we're still a little emotional up here, okay, from the two presentations. It's just, it's wonderful. It's not hard to say it's a great time to be a cat, is it? Communication from the floor. If there's someone who would like to address the board, you will have 5 minutes to do so. Mr. Valadares will keep that clock. Present your name, address, and you may address. Is there anyone interested in doing that? All right, seeing no one, we will move on to the treasurer's recommendations.
Yes, this evening we have 5 items for recommendations. A is approval of minutes, Board of Education meetings for the September 10, 2018 regular meeting. Letter B is the approval of fiscal year 19 supplemental permanent appropriation resolutions. Letter C is the approval of the September 2018 financial statement and payment to vendors. Letter D is the approval of lease agreement with the Lincoln County Educational Service Center. And letter E is the approval of 5-year forecast, for which I'll be giving you a short presentation, a summary of the 5-year forecast as to where our district stands as of today.
While he's setting that up, I need a motion to A through E, treasurer's recommendations. Tom? Mike? Sorry, I think you really work hard. Tom and Mike? Got it.
While he's getting ready, I will comment the findings that he has for these items.
Thank you.
So it's not a personal.
Okay, it's taking a few minutes there. The financial forecast presentation I'm going to be giving you is through year 2023, which is 5 years of estimated revenues and 3 years of actual revenues. And this is for the general operational fund only. The overview is that in fiscal year 19, revenues are going to increase slightly. And this is due to bringing into our operations the newer digital academy. Also, expenditures are going to increase due to the fact that we're bringing the staff from the newer digital academy. And also, this year we're entering into 2 negotiating agreements with both unions in our district. Later on, you're going to see a chart where our expenditures are outpacing our revenues beginning in year 21. And as a result of that, the need for a renewal of the income tax will be very necessary by year 2022. This picture kind of shows you a story about our revenues and expenditures. The blue line is our revenues, the red line is our expenditures. As you can see that in 2016 through 2019, our revenues were just a little bit outpacing our expenditures. However, in 2020, revenues and expenditures started to meet each other, and starting in fiscal year 21, our expenditures are starting to begin to outpace our revenues slightly. But moving on, it continues to do so, which means that our cash balance curve is start going downward due to expenditures outpacing revenues. Our fiscal year 19 estimated revenues are about $77.7 million, of which 55.2% are being generated from state sources and 44.8% from local revenues. Again, this kind of depicts a picture that we are very highly dependent from the state and funding And again, if as you are aware that currently the ODEs, the state is working on a new biennial budget for the next fiscal year 2020 and 2021. The challenges that we face in our rate of revenue are that we need to somehow increase in local revenues with real estate properties and again the income tax in the near future. Also, we need to look at the uncertainty of the future state funding. Currently, the district is being funded and we are capped district, which means that we only get 3% from the revenues that we received in the previous year, regardless of what the formula says. So we're capped at 3%. That's a concern to our district, and the capped district moving forward when the state budget comes into place. The other thing that is very challenging is that sometimes state and federal establish mandates that are unfunded, and districts need to find a way to fund those mandates. The other side of the coin is our expenditures for fiscal year 19. We're estimating them to be about $74.1 million, close to $74.2 million. 53% are related to salaries and 20% to benefits. When you put those two together, 73% of our revenues are going toward salaries and benefits, and the remainder are going to discretionary expenditures, such as supplies, materials, services, and other services that we provide. This particular graph kind of shows you that aside from wages, which is the red bars, and benefit, which is the blue bars, the third largest expenditure line item that we have in the district is purchase services. These are the services that we normally expend to operate the district on a yearly basis, and such as like tuition of other instructions, the utilities in the districts, etc. What our revenues and expenditure relationship does is that when you look at this graph, you'll see that our revenues in the maroon, red kind of looking there, that's our cash balance each of those fiscal years. And the yellow line is the unreserved cash balance, which means that when you take into consideration the accounts payable, it reduces part of those cash balances. But again, we are, and the orange represents what the 30-day cash balance that the state may say that would be an adequate balance to have. But in other institutions, you may hear that the adequate will be anywhere between 3 to 5 months of cash balance. But when this picture kind of tells you that we're certainly above what the norm is of a 30-day cash balance. But again, as expenditures are exceeding our revenues, our cash balance then will turn down. And over here, it kind of shows you that picture that by 19 and 20 we peaked, and then we're going downwards from that point on. In conclusion, basically is that revenues continue to remain flat during all these fiscal years, and expenditures continue to increase, due to inflation and some other factors. We also need to look at programs to see what kind of cost measures we can implement to be sustainable. Long term, we need to watch the state budget, as I alluded to the fact earlier, for the fiscal year 20 and 2021, to see how that is going to affect our district, and we'll probably not know that until sometime June of next fiscal year. But then again, we need to continue to operate conservatively, not knowing what is going to happen with the state budget. Also, we need to be conscious of our finances and try to be maintain sustainable and continue to timely renew our levies, such as the income tax that is due on December 31, 2022. Without that, otherwise we continue our cash balance will be continue to be depleting if those are not passed in a timely manner. This is a brief review of the 5-year forecast. It is going to be on website after the board meeting approves it. For those viewers that would like to see, I have the presentation and also the 5-year forecast along with the notes associated with the 5-year forecast. Any questions?
Did you just get a birthday greeting?
I guess I don't know if that was accidentally. Well, thank you for your listening, and if you have any questions after this, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Hey, well, the local paper said, not local, I guess the dispatch, said that they see perhaps revenues from the state declining. Is that something?
That is something that has been thrown out there that, they want to either reduce it by 20% of what is currently being funded. But again, it is a deliberation that they're continually looking at to see what's going to happen.
Substantial.
Yes, it will be substantially, but usually they come up with those figures early in the stages of the budget, and then throughout, he just got to change. It's changing constantly. Thank you.
Hey, as you're sitting down there, would you call the roll?
Okay. Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Ms. Nickman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Superintendent.
Okay, under personnel, it's that time of year when we begin to, I think it's a little bit earlier this year, we get some retirements for next year. We have Debbie Belt, who is music legend, and Ben will retire at the end of the year. Lori Clapper, was phys ed at McGuffey. Pam Fry, 3rd grade at McGuffey. And Elizabeth Libby Ricardo was 3rd grade at Cherry Valley. All of them announced their retirements. All 4 are wonderful staff members, good teachers. So we appreciate their early notification, so we can make some plans. Appointments and assignments are on there. I'll call your attention to Tom's staff, who came back, was once retired, and came back at the 4th grade at McGuffey. And we appreciate Tom coming back and joining us again. We have a long list of supplemental contracts. We'll need to pull Laura Carr off of that and vote separately as Tim cannot vote for her, so we'll just pull her. These obviously have been through the Personnel Committee. We appreciate that time. There's also a memorandum of understanding in your addendum today that's part of the supplemental for music. Call your attention to that. Salary and position adjustments are on here, as well as substitutes. Under other, approval of job abandonment, that's for a staff member who no longer comes to work and has disappeared. So that would be under number 8. So items 1 through 8.
All right, superintendent items 1 through 8 minus Laura Carr. Pretty nice lady.
And pretty good basketball coach for us too. So.
Pretty decent basketball coach. So, motion to approve those.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Second. Sure. Thanks, Tom. Any questions or discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Ms. Nickman?
Yes.
And Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I would like to vote now. I need a motion for Laura Carr
Yes.
as the 8th grade basketball coach of Liberty Hills. Supplemental contract. Same family. Yes, it is. Bad family. Bad seeds. I need a motion.
So moved.
Go ahead. Thank you, Mike.
You're
Is there a
welcome.
Second.
Like an auction.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. motion died on the table. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Blowers,
Yes.
Mr. Blind,
Yes.
Ms. Nickam,
Yes.
Mr. Carr.
I abstain.
Motion carries.
Okay. Under students and curriculum, we have our regular special education contracts with students who are placed in other districts. A contract with Hogland Learning Center, which is in your appendix, for a student who will attend there. Franklin County Board of Disabilities. ESC of Central Ohio. Under other, I would share the middle school DC trip. And again, I think we haven't talked about this for a while. We so much appreciate the support from Mr. Mitchell for his passing of that. This is the first year that we know how much funds are in there to help the students this year. So every January we get the interest from an account, and it goes through Licking County Foundation and Calder College, and then to Julio in there. So we have been using partial payments of that until we caught up to where we could get in. And generally, it's anywhere from $65,000 to $80,000 a year. And so that is much appreciated. And Lou was always big on students getting out of Licking County and going to DC. So job well done, and for Mr. Mitchell there, his legacy continues. Out-of-state field trip for our AP Spanish 2 and 3 students. They'll be going to Spain over spring break. Approval of graduates from the Newark Digital Academy, which is Bella Alita. I can't pronounce the last name. Ias, I guess? Yeah, Ias, was that good, Julia? Yeah. And Abigail Grace Siegel, and we congratulate those students. We have no gifts today. Under D, business, Kathy McWalders. Kathy is very involved in our after-school program, from the grant writing to the evaluation of the grant and how those funds are spent. We appreciate her work, and the payment for that comes out of our after-school grant. And then Licking County Job and Family Services, this contract is for Lori Mai, who we have in our district from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock every day.
Yes.
Year 2. And that's paid for by our after-school grants. And I would tell you that Lori and Tim do a great job at the high school. Lori, with her job and career background, has been a huge benefit to our students, with getting our high school students jobs while they're in high school, and then even placed in jobs after they graduate. So we appreciate it's been a great grant for the state.
Very nice. Superintendent's recommendations E through D.
So moved.
Second? Yeah. Thank you, Tom. I have a second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Ms. Nickam,
Yes.
Mr. Blowers,
Yes.
Mr. Blind,
Yes.
and Mr. Carr.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Meeting reports and recommendations. All right. Missing Mr. Weber today. I think he would greatly have appreciated the Air Force ROTC. Let's see. Board discussion.
I must be back.
We'll start with you.
Okay. I know everyone's going to want to have something to say about this, but this means a lot. And when the kids got up here to introduce themselves, I heard a continuing theme from each one of them. There's those little carrots that we provide our kids when they're young to get involved in activities. And, you know, little things like, you know, getting to play, you know, basketball or something like that during school. Just little things. Those little carrots are really big things for them. And they all got into it, not really, well, 2 of them, I think, had an idea that they wanted to become a little more involved after graduation. But it seemed like they were all being told they were being encouraged. I think the word nudged was being, or you know, pushed. But they were all being encouraged. And that's what our teachers do, our parents do, it's what we all do as adults in our community. And
I just heard that reoccurring theme from all the kids. And I think that's also true in all of our activities and everything our kids do. So, but I enjoyed very much. It was very meaningful when they came up to the table and made that presentation. It was very personal, and I do appreciate it. When Julio, I love Julio's picture presentations because I think I was king of the picture book in elementary. But I really, I mean, Julio, you make a great, I mean, you make it very easy for people like me to understand. I'm not a, you know, bookkeeper or, anyway, I do appreciate that. I am concerned about the future. And as we're listening to our politicians politic about everything except education, it really annoys me. I'm not hearing anybody out there talking about education. Because I don't think anybody out there knows about education, to be honest. And that's a little pet peeve of mine, I guess. But they say they support it, but I don't see any of our politicians coming in here and listening to a board meeting, or I don't see it. I don't hear it. They're not talking about it. I'm not even sure our governor candidates are really talking much about it. And so when they give us these unfunded mandates, and they're all over the place, it doesn't take long to figure it out. I think they're being reckless. I'll just put it out there. They're not watching what they're doing. They're only concerned about their little circle of influence. And they don't appreciate what teachers are doing. They don't understand what the kids go through in testing. My first experience, when the testing first came out, I was teaching in Heath at the time, and I walked into Garfield Elementary, and there was a little girl sitting there crying, and I asked, well, you know, what's going on? And while the testing was starting that day, she was scared to death. And that fear has not gone away. It's that testing anxiety that we have to deal with our kids. And our politicians don't get it. So I dare say I don't think they care. And so that's where I am with it. And I think we need to be more involved in telling our elected officials that this is important to us. So that's my soapbox for tonight. Thank you very much. I do appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Julio. Doing a great job.
You're very welcome.
With our limited resources. Thank you. Okay, I won't.
I'd also like to thank our junior ROTC students. When you look at the way these young people represent our district and our city, it's just amazing. And when you think, you know, when they go to these football games, they can be in front of 50, 60,000 people representing us so well. And when you figure we've got almost 20% of our student body at the high school participating in junior ROTC, and they've got a 100% graduation rate the last 2 years, it's almost like, can we make this a required subject? You know, it's just amazing. We approved the Washington trip. Any parents out there who happen to be watching it, this is just a great experience for the kids. Well chaperoned, well planned. Everybody should see our nation's capital. And please try to make it workable to get your son or daughter on that trip. I'd like to congratulate the 2 graduates of Newark Digital Academy. That's a major accomplishment. Also, I wanted to plug the Key Club. They are running projects in support of the Thirst Project, which most people don't realize, because our press is so busy following the guys he's talking about, that One of the biggest causes of childhood death worldwide is unsafe drinking water. And the Thirst Project is trying to drill wells to provide safe drinking water in some parts of the world where they currently don't have it. And it's a big Key Club project, I believe nationwide. And on October 27th, our Key Club will be holding a walk for water at Evans Field at 10 a.m. It costs $10. So we'd invite everybody to come out, participate, contribute their $10 and help a little bit there.
What's the date?
October 27th. And with that, I've talked long enough.
Okay, also like to congratulate the Newark Digital Academy graduates on their graduation and accomplishments. Thank you to Lifetown. Thank you to Discover for recognizing that they do have a team here in Licking County, and that throwing some support this way is great. It's a wonderful gift. We truly appreciate that. Happy birthday to Julio. Today's Julio's birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And I do want to comment a little bit. I can't believe we were going to do this on what Mr. Blowers had to say. And I'm not sure that it's that they don't care, but I do believe that they truly don't understand. And I think that there are many well-intentioned individuals and well-intentioned projects, but I've also heard in the road that's paved with good intentions. And I think that the problem becomes is that they become reactive to a situation that's occurred with one student or one school district or one teacher, and they have to come up with some special rule to keep that from ever happening again. And I think the problem is that when that happens, and when they want to have a new special rule, they're not going to teachers, they're not going to superintendents, they're not going to curriculum directors. They're going everywhere but to the school districts to figure out how to solve the problem. And I think that disconnect is a huge problem. One of my disappointments is the attack on public education, and that people think that we're so awful and that public school districts are terrible. And my frustration there is that I know that's not true, but I also know that we're tied to these state and federal mandates. So if you want public education to be different, you gotta do something different with what they're doing at the state and fed. The local districts want more control. They want to have a say in this, and I think we're actually pretty good in the things that we do the Newark way. And so, again, there are some that don't care, I think, but I think the most is not that they don't care, that they just don't understand. So, anytime anyone has an opportunity to help them understand, and parents, students, and it doesn't have to be a school board member or a superintendent or a teacher, parents and students can talk about their experiences with these legislatures and some of the impacts that these rules that they come up with have on them, and what would be better. And part of the reason I know that we're doing a good job is because of what these ROTC kids say, because of what the Key Club is doing. And it's not just these groups, and I think I even talked about this last month. The kids get it, and they know they're supported here, and they feel supported, and they're realizing that they're capable of things they just didn't know because a teacher or a parent or someone has nudged them in that direction and challenged them to show what they're capable of. And I'm very, very proud of us, because that's the stuff that our staff does every single day, and our kids meet that challenge. We have very bright and capable kids. I'm often amazed at what they are capable of, because sometimes I don't even realize what they're capable of, and then they come up with these great projects and great things. And it's just really good to see, and that's how I know that we're on the right side of this and that we're doing the right thing. And also I wanted to mention that I had a Licking Valley parent approach me recently. They were at Brindle for a cross-country meet, and wanted to compliment our middle school cross-country team and the coach, Mr. George Brown. They're very complimentary of the middle school team, how they were working together and cheering each other, just the interactions between the coach and the team. And it was just very positive, everything they were seeing, and wanted to let me know that they had observed that from our middle school team and our middle school cross-country coach. So another example of, I know we're doing the right thing here in our district, and I'm very proud of that.
Yes, I'm very touched also by this coin that I just received. It kind of brings me back memories when my son joined the Air Force right out of the high school, how he changed almost instantly from the experience in the Air Force. And every time I see these kids, I just get teary because it just brings back that memory day in and day out. And thank you. I appreciate it.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
He'll be up all night. We got him a chocolate cake with a lot of chocolate in it today. And we're all bouncing around a little bit, but thanks for
share that.
No, he's got a piece in it as well.
He brought the rest and
Yeah.
right on my desk.
But we had a nice little birthday lunch for Julio and our cabinet today, and we have a really good team, a leadership team here in the district, and we all appreciate you being in our district, and I hope you enjoy your birthday. So, I want to thank our staff and our community. We're pouring 6,000 students back into buildings, or over 6,000 students back into our buildings. That's a huge undertaking, and we expect things to go well because, as we heard last week, we do it every year, so we should be, getting pretty good at it. So, there is always a few bumps and that, but I think the thing that I'm always in awe of when we start school is the support we get from our community. We've had book bags, and school supplies, and given how many book bags did Costco send down here with supplies in them?
100. We had 100.
100 out of the Costco store in Easton we got, and then the local effort here that's put back into making sure that all of our students have what they need to be successful is just a huge undertaking. We appreciate that, so thank you to our community and our staff. Congratulate our band who qualified right out of the gate this year. I know that I stand on Friday night and watch our band, and I'm always very proud of this. A lot of times at halftime, you go to a sporting event, people just get up and take off and go get a hot dog and run around to the start of the third quarter, and you turn and look in our stands at Newark at halftime. I don't think we're selling too many hot dogs during halftime, which is bad for the boosters, but great for our students, and it's really neat to see. But I appreciate you mentioning that about George and the middle school folks, because we have so many of our staff members and community members that are working with our students after 3 o'clock that have a huge impact on our students here. And as you know, I will thank the board for realizing a few years ago, I know Tom had brought it up first, but all the board members have supported the expansion of the ROTC program from 2 to 3. And I think you can see the rewards are paying off. I like what Mike said. A lot of these kids don't know what they're really joining. The kids are all having fun and kind of bring some out, but as they mature and start to see what they're getting from this program, it talks about a lot of our programs. Those are life skills that these students are getting. As you talked about things you do for students or whatever. We always talk it's a great time to be a cap, but it's always been a great time to be a cap. And you start to realize that, how I kind of evaluate what we're doing is listening to our students when they leave here, or they're prepared for the workforce, or they're prepared for college courses, and then seeing what our students are doing out in this world really makes me very proud to be part of this because they're around a lot of good folks who help prepare them for that. So I do appreciate that. I want to mention Julio's present our 5-year forecast, and we chat. Julio, I appreciate you bringing it down to my level all the time and always being patient explaining 50 different times what this line means or whatever. And I'm like Mike, I sometimes like to look at the pictures and those things. But what I pull out of that is 19 years of school superintendent, you strive to be in the low 70s on an operating budget with your expenditures in a school district. That's good. You start getting upper 70s, you got to open your eyes, and you get in the low 80s and you're getting a little worried. So 73% is very good expenditure-wise. And I'm proud to see that stuff, and providing our community continues to support our renewal levies, because I'm sitting with some folks up here in 2009 when I came here that thought, hey, we may be asking for new money in a couple of years. And we're in 2018, get close to 2019, you saw a 5-year forecast in black when we've improved our programs. And so I know a lot of you guys have been on the board and been around for a while, and that starts with our board, the fiscal management from our board, so appreciate that. We changed a lot of programs to meet today's needs, and we're looking good. As Julio said, if any cut at all to the state budget, we're better than about 95% of the school districts in the state will have taken a hit on that. I happen to be optimistic to say we don't know who's governor yet, so we can't really say what their budget is. Day after the election, or November 7th, we'll start hearing some different plans on the state budget. But I'm always encouraged to work with folks and share our philosophy on the investment in our kids and their future in the state. So I was about with it. It's a great time to be a cat. You're up.
Air Force folks, fantastic stuff. The one word I kept hearing was family. They feel like they're a family. And the thing that strikes me is there may be some kids who don't have that much of a family with over 6,000 kids in our district. And so maybe that provides the family that some of those young people need, and helps support the folks at home that are doing their best. Neat stuff. Lifetime lessons, what a privilege for our kids. Thanks to Discover for that. Bella and Abigail, congratulations on your graduation from the Newark Digital Academy / Newark City Schools, because it is a Newark City Schools diploma. I do love the fact that 6 years after the money was supposed to be gone, we're still good. We've been good with the money, and so it's a neat. Band Superiors the last 2 times out. Fantastic job for them. Fall sports are wrapping up. Senior nights are coming. Tournament nights are coming. Get out and see them. I think Tuesday and Wednesday at the soccer fields. One's volleyball, but next week there's some soccer and some volleyball to see. Good stuff going on. Cross country is this weekend, I think. The OCCs is this weekend. So there's a lot going on, and very much.
No, I was just saying, Mr. Shive is the cross-country guru in the Central District, so he knows.
He knows
what all that's what I was looking for. So.
District in 2 weeks on the 20th.
There you go.
Yeah. So I'm just pleased. There's such neat stuff going on in New York City schools, and so for the millions of folks that are out there watching, and based on that, that's probably about 8-9% of the people in Ohio are watching. So we're just kind of, we're glad that you take the time to watch this and have an interest in what's going on in New York City schools. With that, I would like an opportunity to move to executive session for the discussion of personnel. There will be no action afterwards, but I need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Beverly, second? Second. Thank you, Tom. Call that roll, Mr. Valdez.
Ms. Nickum?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
And Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Carries. Executive session.
Hashtag